So what happens if Bernie decides to run as a third-party candidate? And
Ooh.
I don't have a lot of hope for that, to be honest with you. I mean, we have a two-party system here. I hate it. I hate that we always have to choose the lesser of two evils. That's the way it's framed. A lot of times that's how it feels. And so I just feel like third-party candidates don't have a chance.
Okay, let me throw in a wild card that almost no one is considering, where Bernie, as a third-party candidate, would be acceptable. Okay, so now, built into that premise is not acceptable overall. So if you ask me, should Bernie run if it's Hillary versus Donald Trump? My answer is a definitive no. Okay, I'm not going to play dice with the country. I don't want Donald Trump, the madman,
Yes.
Taking over the country and leading it God knows where. He's already threatening violence against his opponents. He's a madman. I'm not going to have it.
In such a scenario, by the way, just so you know, if none of them get to the 270 electoral votes, right? Let's say he does run. He wins a couple of states, she wins a couple of states, Trump wins a handful of states, none of them are 270. The Republican House decides who the next president is. They vote on it in the House of Representatives. So you will get a conservative Republican coming out of that House of Representatives. So if there are three candidates, none of them get enough, Bernie and Hillary split some states, that's not good for a lot of progressive politics in America.
But the Electoral College is definitely a great way to run an election. Go ahead, Jim.
I think it is. I would defend the Electoral
Oh,
College.
you're insane. Okay.
No, I would totally defend it.
So, look, if you didn't want Donald Trump to be president, you should have voted for Bernie Sanders because he beats Donald Trump in much wider margins than Hillary Clinton does. And he captures independents far better than Hillary Clinton does. But in this scenario, where Bernie Sanders loses and Hillary Clinton's the delegate, the nominee for the Democrats, sad day. That ship has already sailed, right? So now, here's my wild card idea. Okay, Trump somehow gets screwed in the convention, which is entirely possible. And maybe he doesn't get screwed. He just didn't get the majority. He doesn't get the majority, and the delegates line up behind someone else, Ted Cruz or a wild card candidate, Kasich, Paul Ryan, whoever it is. You think Trump's not going to run? Trump's definitely going to run.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely. Yeah.
So now, wait a minute. Now Trump's running. And then once Trump is running, well, you just open up the floodgates. You're going to get another wild card candidate, probably Jesse Ventura. I don't know if he's got enough legs. But if it's not Ventura, maybe it's Bloomberg, maybe it's someone else. Now, wait a minute. We got four people in the race now. Now you've got four people in the race and two or three of them on the right side. Well, then why not have someone from the left run? Then here comes Bernie, right? In that, admittedly wild scenario, okay? But has this election been wild? It's been the wildest I've ever seen, right? So then Bernie comes in. Could he capture a majority of the votes in a five-way race, in a four-way race? Yes, he most certainly can. Okay, now, nonetheless, that goes back to Michael's point, which is, yeah, but if no one gets 270, it goes to the House, and the House right now is controlled by Republicans. But would it still be controlled by Republicans? So that is a technical question I'm not sure about, which is, if you have a new House, does the new House pick the president?
Well, we always said that it's like the SCOTUS thing, right? Well, you're elected to do it then and there. You'd have to have the Speaker call the House. I mean, if there was a new House, if there was a change in the House of Representatives, they would probably push it to January. But that's not, because the House is inaugurated on January 1st, the President's inaugurated on January 20th. They probably would work something out where they did that, but that's not likely, to happen, and there's no precedent for that happening either. So,
boy, would that be an unbelievable mess. But here's what would happen if, in that crazy scenario, Bernie has won the plurality of the vote. He has gotten the most votes. Would he have a case to make, whether it's the old House or certainly in a new House? And if Bernie won the plurality, does that mean there's a lot more Democrats in the House? Probably, right? He'd have a hell of a case to make, right? So that's your crazy wild card scenario where here comes Bernie and he enters, but he'd have to enter late. If he entered before any other Republican did, a lot of Democrats would hold that against him, and I think a lot of Democrats would be right to be concerned about that. So it really would require an unprecedented scenario for that to happen. But I will tell you this, whether it's Bernie, not Bernie, et cetera, I think an unprecedented scenario with three or more candidates in the general election is not crazy. I mean, I think in this wild, wild election, that is enormously possible.